Okay, so I've learned something new that, worryingly, I might be a lone nut, and we're going to put that theory to the test shortly with my live polling. And why did I do it? Well, I was on holiday, relaxing, which was a rare thing. Had a couple of glasses of gin and tonic, and I'm thinking, well, the event that we're going to be doing in November is focusing on how to deliver business improvement, business enablement through technology, and what does that really mean? And really, how can we start to drive some different behaviour? How can we start to improve the customer experience and the usage of technology? And I think we've all experienced it, where new systems, new technology has been implemented, and we're then faced with those questions of, well, really, what's in it for me? Can I have the old thing back? I preferred it. And why did you go and make this change? You didn't consult us within the business. So culturally, cultural adoption is always going to be a major challenge. So I thought, okay, how can we work with people? We've got a lot of experience, as I said, tracking back over 30 years now. And what's been great for me is that all the different waves of technology over that time, 30 years spanning 4 decades, right? And you look at it and you think, well, what is the technology there to deliver? I think our industry is plagued with acronyms, and it can be the most confusing place to be part of and to understand. And certainly as the technology has become more widely available, and more entrants to the market, it becomes even more confusing. So I'm looking at it and thinking, well, our role is really to work with our customers to help them get the technology in the hands of the users within the business. So, part of that, I thought, okay, well, let's try and help our customers look like heroes, right? Let's get this right. And then I'm thinking, well, it probably was sunstroke, but I'm probably thinking, if you're going to be a hero, you should probably be a superhero. And if you're going to be a superhero, then to me, there's only one. It's got to be Superman. And you go and look at the powers that Superman has got, the ability to have excellent vision, superhuman hearing, so can hear everything that's going on, brilliant recall, so anything he's seen, heard, experienced, can bring back to the fore at the right time. Clearly the ability to fly as well, to soar up into the sky and look down and see everything that's going on. And there's many more besides. So I thought, okay, if we're going to be a superhero, that would be a great place to be. But for us mere mortals, it's a bit more of a challenge. So let's look at some of the key techniques that we can use to actually deliver upon technology adoption and project success. So I've picked out 3 things. I'll talk through those shortly. But before I do, I thought I'd look at some stats, because I think every presentation should have some stats in it. So I've got one slide on stats. And, we've heard really around IT spend, fluctuates around how much people invest in IT. So we've heard earlier from Christian, moving from 10% to 3.2. The figures I saw were around about 5% of GDP is invested into IT, which creates a very big number, $3.6 trillion, which is a lot of money, right? So there's a lot of money that's going into IT, and what value are we getting out from a business perspective? How is it helping to improve how we all operate? How is it making our lives easier? And the UK IT spend, around about 81% of UK organisations through a recent survey stated that either their budget had increased for 2014 or it would remain the same. So I think a pretty healthy reflection of the importance of IT investment for organisations today, the importance to innovate and differentiate. And then there's lots of new technologies that are coming to the fore. We've heard about a few today. We'll get to see more out in the exhibition area, and we'll hear about more in the breakout seminars as well. So, growth in tablet sales. There's now more people using tablets and laptops than there are traditional PCs. So 18% growth in tablets, 12% growth in smartphones. And, I think everyone today is, carrying around a multitude of devices. Cloud, we've heard about and seen the growth of cloud over recent years. So again, depending upon whichever stat you're looking at, mine talks to 25% growth in cloud. Big data, again, a massive topic and growth area for people. Internet of Things, so 30 billion devices, that's the number I saw, whilst using that wonderful thing called Google. By 2020, there'll be 30 billion end devices connected to the internet. So that's a pretty scary thought. And that's not just Morris's fridge, there's plenty more behind, right? The growth of infrastructure as a service, so 41% growth. And then also, what we're seeing as well, the growth of social media and social tech. And I think this is an important thing because we're in a world where it's not just casting and understanding the opinions of the business and the users, but it's also we're in a world where we can listen and understand to what customers have to say as well. So these are things that I think we should consider. So if we're looking at success of IT projects, we should also consider the flip side, the kryptonite, the failed IT projects. And again, the other evening I was Googling around and having a look, and I saw the Chartered Institute of IT, in their view, only 1 in 8 IT projects can be truly viewed as a success. That's a pretty scary statistic for us as professionals in the room. And that's either fails to meet the time, the cost, or the requirements, the quality set out at the start of the project. And then another bit of research I found, McKinsey and Company in conjunction with Oxford University. This one is pretty scary, right? 17% of large IT projects go so badly they can threaten the very existence of the company. So I think, we're in a world where we really rely upon IT. We use it, every day, but the impact can be huge if we get it wrong. And on average, 45% go over budget, 7% over time, and 56% deliver less value than predicted. And, if value is in the eye of the beholder, what have we done as a team, as professionals, to understand the expectations that need to be delivered through these IT projects? So why do they fail? And I've picked a few different areas. So, the technology just wasn't good enough. It was the wrong thing. We've overlooked the stakeholders that we should have spoken to. And as I said, how often does that happen? The project team, the project board, it wasn't run effectively. We made bad decisions. Insufficient training and user adoption. So Sophie's talked to that quite extensively. If you are making a change, you want people to use it. There's no point buying stuff and ticking it off a list and saying, well, we've done our job, we've bought it, we've implemented the infrastructure, it's not my fault people aren't using it. This has got to be the journey that we're going through, which is how do we get user adoption? How do we get people to consume the technology and the value that we're delivering? That's really what's going to make a difference. That's going to be the thing that when we're assessed as to the value we've delivered back into the business, we're able to say, these are the tangibles that we've delivered. This is how we have helped the organization. So we've got to look beyond the initial infrastructure and delivery of technology right through into the user cases of how it's helped people in the way in which they operate, how it's helping with the customer experience, which we heard a lot about from Morris this morning, and the changing expectations that people have. So, business drivers, again, looking at this, it's important to understand where the organization's going, what are the pain points, what are the challenges, and what do they need to achieve. And then from there, we're starting to map in the technology that can support it. The last thing we want to do is go to the business and say, there's this great new technology, we should all use it. The thing that doesn't excite me and get me up every morning is widgets and digits and speeds and feeds and bits and bytes. It's about the value that we can deliver through our customers into the users, into the customers. That's actually helping to drive business improvement, business growth, greater profitability. So part of this, again, the discussions that I'm having with people is how do we accommodate these different channels? How do we support this social world that we're seeing today? Because I tell you what, if you get it wrong, there was that old adage before of if somebody has a bad experience, they'll go and tell 10 people. But actually today, they have a bad experience, they could tell 10 million people. So we should, again, consider these things. Compliance, security, we were talking about this earlier, right? So as the technology is becoming more and more available, actually now what's going to happen is what are the security risks? When we're implementing these technologies, how are people going to use it? What does the overhead become of actually supporting a really wide range of technology in the business? For me, what's interesting, the comment about people who are investing and bringing technology into the business, it's no longer the domain of the IT teams. The business people who are selecting, buying, implementing, and delivering technology. That plays back to to me on holiday, where I've got this great idea, which is what I want to do is I want to do a live experiment in my presentation. So that's always a challenging thing, right? And it could go wrong, but we'll see. So I'm thinking what would be really great is to get people to vote, and give me their views, and then behind me on the big screen is see these things appear in a live environment. So whether it works or not, I don't know. But I came back from holiday and did I speak to the IT team? No, I didn't. I went back to my marketing team and I said, look guys, I've had this great idea for the presentation. What I want to do is to get audience participation. It's a bit scary, but I want to get the stats and the figures up on the screen. And there's got to be some stuff out there that does this. Get onto Google, go and have a look, go and see what you can find, get a short list together, and then let's go and look at it and let's put it in. And that's exactly what we did. So, I saw the technology for the first time last night. So this really is concerning for me. But, the guys have really helped out, and, the additional value that we've been able to find within that technology in what is an incredibly short space of time, I think really reinforces that if you get the person who makes the decision, implements technology, gets to use it, they spread the word, right? I was talking to one of our partners in the exhibition hall last night saying, you know what, I'm doing this presentation tomorrow, we're doing this live voting, and I was asked the question, well, what are you using? Well, it's this great technology that I'd never heard of before, but the really great thing is that not only can we get people to poll live, but they can actually see on their devices the screens, the presentations at the same time. They can make notes. It's personalized, so when they download it, it's available to them. They can ask questions, so that would be brilliant for the Q&A. And the response was, hey, that sounds great. Where are they? I should talk to them. That would be really good for our business. And I think that's the thing, is if you get people genuinely excited about what's possible for the organization, and you remove the complexity of the conversations that are going on, you try to pull yourself away from the acronyms that we're plagued by in our industry, and you talk about the business value with excitement, you really do get those followers, and you get a movement, and you start to change how people see and view technology and how they use it. So for me, the key to success, just to really boil it down and look at it in its simple terms, I decided 3 key areas that we should focus on. So great technology, and we've heard about various technology today. There's lots out there in the exhibition, and we're going to drill down into more detail in the seminars today. But there is a lot of great technology out there. There's a lot of choice. Engaged people, and I'll give my view on engaged people and how far we should go and what that means, and also an effective plan. Because if we are going to go and make change and roll technology out, this has got to be planned, and we've got to successfully migrate. We're talking about technology changes, and the big bang approach is one, but certainly the customers I'm talking to, the larger organizations, are looking at how they steadily move through and adopt technology and try it and use it and build those user cases and how they can migrate from today's position to tomorrow's world. So I thought, as a technologist company, I should overload you with technology words and terms and acronyms. And, there's many, many more that I could load onto this slide. And I think the important thing is there is a lot of stuff out there, but it's bloody confusing. What do I go and implement? What's right for me? What needs is it going to go and address? And how am I then going to go and communicate that back into my business to get people excited about it, to get them to buy into it, to get those checks signed and actually get some movement? So do I really want to talk about SIP as a technology? Do I want to talk about FTTC? Are people actually going to understand that in the business? Are they going to see the value it delivers? Or should I be talking about how we can change how we work, how we can actually make the operations more resilient, how we can achieve cost saving, how we can improve our customer service experience, how we can make it easy for people to use technology, how we can make it easy for people to do business with us? So now I'm on to let's try this thing. So when I was looking at it, as I said, there's lots of different technology that we could talk about. So I've decided to pick out 5 technologies. So the first one is CTI, then we're into cloud, SIP, telephony virtualization we heard about today, and call recording. So we've heard about these different things throughout the course of the session already today. So what I'm going to do is just describe these technologies, yeah? And what I want you to do shortly is to vote on whether you think that technology, based upon what I'm talking about, could add value to your business, you don't think it would add value, or you're not sure, yeah? And as I said, all being well, we get to see the figures behind me on the big screen. And please be honest, yeah? I've got thick skin, I can deal with this. If you don't think it would add value, vote accordingly. Don't just vote yes to try and please me, because that's not what this is about. So the first one I'm going to take is CTI, and CTI stands for Computer Telephony Integration, right? And it's the method of connecting phone systems and software applications together. That's CTI. The next one is cloud, and there's lots of different definitions of cloud, but in simple terms, we'll probably look at it as an environment where stuff is stored off-site, invariably in a data center, okay? SIP, another great acronym that we have in our industry, Session Initiation Protocol, right? Great. And one of the applications of this is something called SIP trunking, where I can make and receive telephone calls via this protocol over a data network, yeah? Telephony virtualization. So with the advent and move to IP, what happened was, in essence, telephone system functionality was removed from hardware, and it became a software application that was delivered. And we'd seen it within the IT world, where lots and lots of servers were taken away and moved into data center environments using virtualization. We've seen exactly the same with the telecoms world. So I don't have loads and loads of boxes anymore. I can actually move that software into a single virtualized environment. And call recording. It's not hard to work out what call recording is. It's the process of recording calls, yeah? There's lots of other applications and functionality behind it. So that's as much as I'm going to say for now. And what we're going to do is bring up the questions, hopefully. And for those of you that are logged on to the application, you're going to be asked to give the responses. So the first one will be CTI, so adds value to my business, doesn't add value, or not sure. Okay? So if you want to put the first question up, please. So it's working so far. So as I said, be honest. What I've told you what CTI is. If you're really excited about that and you think it could add value, tell me. If you don't, tell me. Figures are changing. A lot of people who maybe aren't sure. Did my explanation not get you excited? I don't know. But as I said, be honest. Because hopefully, this experiment will work, but it may not. Okay, I think, are we all done? I think that's kind of stabilized. No, it's moving a little bit more. Okay, I think we'll move on to the next one. Next question. So, would cloud add value to my business? See, part of this might be predicated by the wonderful job that you guys did this morning and this afternoon in talking about this stuff. Okay, have we stabilized? Oh no, a bit more movement. Okay, we'll move on to the next one now. So, SIP. Making the guys at the back work hard there. I love it when the first one goes in because it's, you can't really stop at that point, can you? You've got to let it run a bit more. Okay, and we'll move on to the next one, telephony virtualization. Whoever's first is doing a great job because they like everything. Okay, and we'll move on to the last one, which is call recording. Okay, I think that'll do. So we'll move on now. So we've recorded all those figures, and we'll come back to that in a little while. We'll all get a chance to vote again very shortly. Right. So the piece I really wanted to talk about first was engaged people, and as I said, it's really important that we understand what the business is trying to achieve. This shouldn't be just a one-way technical dialogue where us as suppliers are talking to the IT team, and we're very comfortable talking in acronyms, and we do those wonderful network diagrams, and we all feel very clever and great about what we do. We've also got to be talking to the business and operational leaders. We've got to understand where the organization's going, what challenges they've got, what pain points they've got, but also where the opportunities are, right? How can we do things differently? How can we stand out from the crowd? We've got to look at the users because, as I said, if you're making a technology change, you want to make sure that it's actually adding value and it's accessible. You want to make sure that people understand how to use it and it's going to be adopted. The last thing we want is a position where new technology has gone in, and each and every time there's a technology revision, the actual process, the workflow, the adoption becomes diluted at each step of the process. And we've got to look at customers. How do we understand customers' views? What would be great from a customer's perspective to make it easier for them to do business with us? Yeah, reduce the customer effort. And the thing that we should ask with all of this is, what's in it for me? Yeah, the so what statement. So we go and say about, SIP is great technology because I can route calls over a data connection. So what? Yeah, what was wrong with ISDN? Why am I changing this infrastructure? So that should be what we're doing, but then we should be clearly providing the benefit statements and the reasons and the applications as to why. Because all of the technology stuff I put up on that slide, those 100+ words of what can be delivered, well, actually, we got a huge amount of experience of providing that and working with customers to drive business change and improvement through technology. We're in an enviable position where we have 30 years worth of experience. We work with some of the leaders in the market worldwide. Within the UC space, we're working with 3 out of the 4 that are in Gartner's Magic Quadrant. We've got a lot of skill set when it comes to deploying the technology and integrating different applications, systems, and technologies together. So, the what's in it for me question and statement. And definitely understand the pains before you prescribe the solution. I remember standing up at one of these events a number of years ago, and I get a phone call, and this guy said to me, "Look, Jonathan, really enjoyed the presentation. Hope I get some more, but really enjoyed the presentation. And what I'd like is for you to come in and meet my MD, and we'd like to buy this thing off you." And I thought, okay, well that sounds great, but let me come in and meet you and understand what you want to do. And whilst we've got sales targets to hit, we've also got a position that we want to work with customers in partnership, and we want to advise them, and we want to do the right thing by them. So it was a really interesting meeting. I got told, well, I remember you talking about this particular product that you've got, and this is what we want to do. So I want to buy that product to address that need. And maybe I hadn't presented it very clearly, but I said, very sorry, but actually that product doesn't deliver that functionality. If that's your problem and your requirement in the business, then that's the wrong thing to buy, right? We should be talking about how we can address that, and there's lots of technologies on the market, and we should understand how that fits into the existing environment you've got, because the last thing I'm going to be doing is taking an order for something that doesn't deliver upon the expectations that you have and the business has, because collectively we're going to fail, yeah? So really important, invest the time to understand the pain points and the requirements. We've done a lot over the last few years where we undertake discovery sessions. I'll talk more about that in the breakout seminar within the contact center, but actually going in and seeing how people are using technology, looking at areas and ways in which we can help to improve efficiency and business process, help to improve the customer service experience, help to create an environment where, we want to grow revenues. How can we improve cross-sell, upsell? How can we understand the voice of the customer, and how can we work differently to support that? That's what we should be doing. And cross the divide, yeah? So we've heard about, the technical discussions and the business discussions. And again, I went to a really interesting meeting where, as a business, we've been talking to a technical guy for some time, and we're thinking, this is a no-brainer. This really could help your business, but I don't think we'd given him the ammunition to be able to go and have those conversations back in his business. So for what was approaching 2 years, we're having the same sort of discussions all the time, and nothing's happening. And I was presenting at a seminar up in the city, and actually the operations director of the business came along to it, and he came up to me and said, "You know what, Jonathan, that's interesting what you were talking about. I can see how some of the technology could actually help improve our business, and these are the challenges we've got. We're moving head office, a key member of staff is leaving who's got the skills and experience to support our platforms. We need to do things differently. Our customers are contacting us using different channels today, and we want to be in a position where we can create greater consistency around customer contact across these different methods. Our costs are high. We don't understand really what technology is in place, and we've got a very complex supply chain, and it's a real issue and overhead to manage. And we want to innovate. We want to do things differently. We've innovated with our software applications, and we want to kind of do the same across the board. So can you come and help me?" And I remember that piece where I was sat in the middle. Yeah? I didn't fall down the gap, which is good, but I was sat in the middle where I've got the technical team on one side and I've got the business and operational team on the other. And I sat there for an hour interpreting, yeah? Where these teams weren't talking a language that each other was understanding. And at the end of the meeting, the operations director said to me, "Look, Jonathan, we get it. This is what we should be doing. This should be our strategy. We worked with them, we undertook the due diligence, we went into the contact centre, we looked at how we could improve how they operated, we built a plan, and we delivered the technology that helped to accommodate multi-channel communication, helped to improve the reporting, helped to drive increases in sales, helped to make it easy for people to work, whether they're in the office, at home, on the road, and also, by the way, improve the resilience. So if a problem happened in one area, the technology carried on working. And as a byproduct, we delivered 46% cost saving as well. So talking to that point from Maurice earlier, if you're looking at customer experience and you're trying to make it easier and more efficient, is there also the opportunity to achieve cost savings as well? And what we've seen over many years is technology has become more affordable. So if it's become more affordable, how can you get advantage of those cost savings? But importantly, if you're going to do that, where can you then reinvest that money that you saved to drive further innovation and change and improvement into the organisation?
Mia saw an opportunity. That opportunity was to create a contact centre business that offered our customers resilience in the event that something happened to our primary site. We needed more than one site. We needed a telephony platform that allowed us to operate our services centrally, regardless of the location that we actually had our agents sitting in. The Mitel 3300 virtualised solution with a red box voice recording gave us that solution. Britannic offered us a multi-layer resilient hosted solution for our Mitel, our virtualised Mitel, and we rolled that out within a very short time scale with very complex queue management provided by Britannic. We were then able to go to market with a bespoke contact centre services solution, and within a very short space of time we were able to attract customers to Mia's 24/7, supporting both our existing group customers and improving their service, transparency of service, at the same time increasing our own external portfolio of customers and improving their out-of-hours experience, overspill, daytime or BCP experience.
For me, what really stands out there was how we worked with Mia's to look at the technology to actually create a business opportunity. So previously, single contact centre, risk around resilience and availability, supporting the group, and actually by sitting down and looking at a strategy in different ways of deploying technology, we were able to create a platform that could scale, could be resilient, and from there could actually create a market offering where Mia's were able to attract new customers. So the figures we talked about were additional 20 contracts, supporting over 500,000 tenants, so big numbers involved in this. And that was done through telephony virtualization, moving stuff into the cloud, SIP technology to be able to provide the resilience and centralized scaling, so that flex up and flex down environments, core recording to understand the interaction with people and how and where to improve, and contact center technology as well. So, really great example of how all this stuff was actually deployed into a business to service an existing need, but actually creating a business opportunity for growth.
One of the huge advantages of the new system that we've implemented with Britannic and Mitel is the ease with which we're able to open new locations. It's been so much more straightforward to deliver a solution, and the minute we go live, those consultants that are based in that travel centre are part of our larger call handling group. With our focus on personalisation, one of the things that I'm most excited about in terms of future developments on the system is the ability to start call routing intelligently based on the incoming caller ID. That's going to allow us, particularly with our very high value customers, to offer an even greater level of service where particular numbers are identified, routed to the relevant people without asking to be transferred or being called back.
Okay, so thank you, Matthew, from Trailfinders. And again, both Martin and Matthew are doing breakout seminars after lunch. So if you want to hear more detail, please do attend those. But again, with Trailfinders' perspective, there was 28 different locations across the UK, individual phone systems, old models, and lots of additional investment that was needed each and every time a new location was opened. And for many years we've worked with those guys. We provided the glue, the CTI, that when the customer calls into the business, they're immediately recognized. The transaction information, the history, the preferences are displayed to the person that's talking to that customer. That's really helped them to deliver a high level of personalization and differentiate from a service perspective. It's seen them win many industry awards and grow from what was the start point when we began working with them many, many years ago, from 50 employees to well over 1,000 employees now across UK and Ireland. So the technology has helped them to grow, it's helped them to personalize service, and certainly elements like SIP, it's helped them to get a much better return on investment they had before. Previously 1,400 lines. Moving to a centralized model, they were able to reduce that resource down to 500. So big cost savings, but more importantly, with the integration and technology that we've delivered today, the ability to be able to flex and change and evolve and route calls around to the best people to be able to deal with that inquiry. So for me, technology in action, the core recording systems that they've used to understand customer experience linked to performance management and measures and appraisals with their staff has really helped to create a culture of customer service within that business. So I'm going to do the Ask the Audience again. We've heard a little bit about how people have used some of this technology to drive business improvement. Based upon what you've heard now, can you see maybe some business applications, some improvement within your organization of these different technologies? That's the question. So, first one is CTI, which should appear shortly, all being well. Maybe not. Okay, so again, I'll ask you the same question. Would CTI add value to my business? Okay, we move on to the next one. So cloud. Okay, and on to SIP. I'm moving through quickly now because I'm conscious of the fact that I'm between you and lunch. Okay, and on to telephony virtualization. And I think it is fastest finger first on this now. And then finally, call recording. Well, that's about as even as it's going to get, I think. Okay, and we'll finish that there. We'll bring the results up shortly, which is going to be interesting for me to see if there's more people who can see the benefit after that very, very, very short overview, or less people. But I think for me, what's really important is very, very, very hard to convey in what is a very short space of time the benefits of the technology. The key thing for me is actually invest the time to come into the business, look at how you're operating, look at the pains and opportunity that you've got, and from there, make some recommendations based upon real life cases. So help show you and the business through demonstrations and analysis of where improvements can be made through technology. And that's certainly what we've been doing over the last period. So an important part of this as well is once we've understood what technology can deliver and how we can translate that into business speak, the important thing is then to go and plan the change. So we need to go and look at where we are today, so the as-is situation. We need to look at opportunities and threats. We need to look at pains and where we can improve. And from there, we go and create a strategy, a vision. Where do we want to be? And I went to a session held by one of our customers a few weeks ago, and that was great. They brought together stakeholders from across their supply chain, and there was over 100 people represented there. And what they were doing was setting their vision and strategy for the future. They were seeking different views and opinions to be able to work out where technology could help them and how to move forward. And I think, certainly for me, one of the things that I've heard played back to me many, many times before is, you don't know what you don't know. There's a lot of technology out there, but I don't know all of it. I don't know how it's being used, and I don't know how it can help me. So it's that process of spending the time together, investing it, and talking about previous experiences and success stories, and finding things that are going to work for each and every individual customer. And then from there, we build the plan. We work to Prince 2. We focus on getting buy-in. The cultural adoption is very important. Building those champions. Internal PR back into the business around how tech is going to help. And then it's a process of managing that change. And stretch the budget. There's a lot of ways of saving money with technology. And, I could talk about that forever. I won't. But there are a lot of ways we could save money. And if we're going to save money, then what should we do and what could we do to reinvest in technology? And it's not a case of me standing up here and saying, if I've saved you £1 over there, you should spend that £1 with me. It's about what's available in the market. What could you invest in to take the business forward? For sure, we've got a lot of great technology at our disposal, but we don't have everything. Yeah, we're not everything to everyone, but what we do incredibly well. So what I would say is where savings are achieved, how can you use that to reinvest, to innovate and drive the business forward? How are we doing on the numbers? Okay, let's have a look. So this all could have gone horribly wrong, but... So is the red one is the second, yeah? Okay, so that's good. That's good. More people thought CTI would help their business. Same with cloud, same with SIP, which was already high, and the same with telephony virtualization. We maybe need to do a bit more talking about the working examples and scenarios from core recording. It's a very quick run through we've done there, but as I said, what I would focus in on is how do we translate the benefits of the technology? How do we move beyond the confusion and the acronyms and this divide that may well sit within the business? Okay, so a few key things: understand the business need, get tangible evidence. What we want to do is address problems and support opportunities. And get a real buzz, yeah? Get people excited about what could be done. Put the technology in the hands of the users. Get them seeing and understanding and visualizing how it can help them. Also, get them to play back to you their thoughts and ideas. The example of the application we've just used, actually, a few minutes of looking at it and playing with it, we started to find other areas that it could help us for this event. And how can we help as a business? Well, we can certainly help to come in and audit the existing situation, the technology, the infrastructure, working practices, look at where cost savings can be achieved, some quick wins, how those could be reinvested. Look at the business requirements. Those discovery sessions are really important. Get buy-in, show the technology off, get people excited about it. Agree success criteria. If we're going to do this, how are we going to measure the success of what we've done? We want to be in a position where people are looking back on the project and saying, what a great job we've done. We can help to scope the solution. We've got great technology we can bring to the fore, and we can help to present the business case, the roadmap, the return on investment, and build that implementation to manage change. A lot of complex projects we've done there. So, what I would say is, whilst we can't all be Superman, there's a lot of experience that we've got as a team and working together. If we follow those three key principles of great technology, engaged people, and effective plan, we can deliver successful projects for our business. Thank you very much.